Alright, after you've scaled and moved all the physics bones into correct locations, you should have something looking similar to this. What you'll want to do is make sure that that bone encompasses the entire mesh at which the joint is for. So like for this leg we have right here, for this joint up here, we just wanted to encompass the entire leg so that anything that will touch that will collide with it. After you've done that, you can now simulate it and watch how it reacts. And after we hit play on the button up over here, we'll be able to see it fall and hit the floor and then react with it. So here we go. You see it, and it's like kind of moving around. But yeah, that's basic physics right there. One other thing you want to, if you ever want to do, is have breakable joints. Is in the mode, once you change the editing mode and you're able to select the joints, when you set the angular breakable, you'll be able to break off that joint from the rest of the body. And you want to set the strength at which it needs to be broken for impacts. So the higher the angular break threshold, the harder you'd have to hit it in order to break it off. I'm just going to set it at 0 so that any hit will be able to take it off. Real important is you want to have joints break off where in the mesh they naturally would break off. So basically you want to have two separate pieces of geometry that joint is in between in order to break it off nice and smoothly. For instance, if these were all connected, one piece of geometry, and you wanted to break it off, it would just stretch the polys all the way down to where it breaks off at. But in this case, this front part of this leg is one mesh, and then the second part is another mesh. So since they are separate, when they break, you'll just see a nice clean split, and you won't see any pulling or tearing or anything like that. So when we get to play the simulation, when it hits the ground, the leg will just pop right off. As you can see, there's the leg down there. It just fell off, once it hit the ground, and voila, that's the basics of it. Now to see it, put it into a game real simply, just a few easy tricks. I'm gonna close out here real quick. Alright. So what I have right here now is just a basic level that I just set up, where I have the spider right here in with its physics, and whenever I'm able to shoot it, it just falls right over. Let me show you an example of that real quick. Alright. So here I have a spider, and when you bump into it, it collides with you. We can see that by showing the collision, by typing in 0 collision, and you'll see all the physics assets that you set up. The pink is your natural collision boundaries, but those are the skeletal mesh collision boundaries. So now when we shoot it right here, it should fall over, and yep. And actually the leg is still set to be broken off, so it is actually just standing there until I shoot it like that. One important thing to note is that you need to have an impulse strike the object or skeletal mesh in order for it to fall over and do anything. By default, the player, the guy you play as, does not have any impulse whatsoever on his body. It's just when he shoots guns. So if you run into something with your player, physics won't take a part of it unless you set up a trigger or something like that. But for right now, when you'd have to actually shoot something in order for it to fall down like that. Alright, so we're going to delete that guy, and so we could set up a new character. So what you'll want to do in order to set your skeletal mesh of the physics assets in your game real simply is select the physics asset first in the generic browser. Then go into your level and right click, add actor, add physics asset, and then it will be the name of the physics asset. And there it is. My character is a little small, so I'm going to enlarge him a little bit just for our purposes. Alright, now you're going to have to do one other thing actually to be able to collide with it and have physics take over when you shoot it. So if you select it, then right click on it, you go to its properties up here. It's a K asset, so just go there, and then you'll have all these different options to select from. What you'll want to do is go into collision type right here and just go block all. So it will block you when you're running into it, and it will block weapon fire and so on. Let's test that out. First you want to rebuild the level, make sure the lighting works and the object is put into the game, and this will take a couple seconds depending on how deep your level is. Alright, cool. So now when we go to play, it is in the game. Cool. And when I try to run into it, yep, I get stopped. And I'm going to check out the collision. Yep, it's there. And now I'm going to shoot it, make sure it falls over. Yep, all but the leg again. So boom. Alright, couple of things to note if you ever want to change to a different physics asset. What you'll want to do is under collision, go to collision component, skeletal mesh component, and all the way down here during physics asset, if for some reason this was empty and had no physics asset, what you'll want to do is just select the physics asset and then hit the little green arrow there, and it'll associate it with it, so it'll connect it. There's also a whole bunch of other options. If it's not starting at first, you want to make sure B has physics asset instance is checked right here. If it's not, it won't do anything. And that's basically it. You could change different collision channels it could collide with. So if you want to mess with the cloth or some other ones, and so on, then you could do that. But that's basically it. Alright, thanks a lot.